Yo, yo, yo! Welcome into another episode of my cat's least favorite podcast, the Dynasty Dogs podcast, brought to you by Win Daily. I'm your host, Dynasty Dog Rich. Alongside me, as always, is Dynasty Dog Mike. What's going on,
You don't
Mike?
even have a cat, you fucking liar.
Hey, man, I had to feed off of what you say, so I had
True.
cats growing up.
True. You did. I'll give you that. They scared the shit out of me whenever I would sleep over your house because I'd be sleeping on your floor in the living room and all of a sudden you'd just be hearing scurrying. I'm like, what the fuck?
My daughter's obsessed with cats. I don't know why, but she's
Really?
obsessed with cats. Yeah, she loves cats.
She also loves your dogs too, from the things you've sent me.
Yeah, she does, but she just likes cats.
Probably smaller and easier to grab.
That's a great way to open the show, I guess. Not with our plans here of talking about the coaching hires that we have.
One thing about Rich, by the way, everyone, if you throw him off just the tiniest bit, the whole thing's going to be screwed up for about 10 minutes until you get him back on track.
Welcome to the life of ADHD, dude. That's exactly it. Well, anyway, back on course. We've got coaching hires to go over. A whole hell of a lot since last week. And in honor of tomorrow's Royal Rumble, we are going to do sort of like a keep trade cut, but Royal Rumble edition for the Dynasty. We'll go over players. We'll say who you would rather have. The other players will get eliminated. Comprende?
Over the top rope.
Over the top rope. 2 feet have to hit the floor.
Yep, they have to hit the floor. There's no Kofi Kingston saving themselves on chairs and stuff like that.
Here I go. Being off tangent. How do you think tomorrow he saves himself? Because he's going to. He's going to. He's going to land on something.
So I think it would be cool because, I don't think Big E is ready to wrestle or anything like that. Who knows if he ever will again. If they have him, just catch him. Because I'm sure Big E could probably still do that.
Yeah.
Because he's strong and everything like that. I think he could catch him or somehow help him. Maybe not catch him, but just a real quick trust fall kind of thing instead of a full catch.
That's
maybe
a good call.
They'll do something like that.
You know what? That. If that did happen, they kept it under wraps. There we go. Not like everything else that's coming out about WWE. Vince McMahon is just straight getting shitted on, but that's a story for another day.
That should be, by the way. But
yeah, well, that was a pun.
Yeah, true.
You get it? Poop joke. But let's get right into it. You want to talk about the coaches first?
Yeah, we'll get into that if you want. Who do you?
Sure.
Do you want to start it off?
Yeah. So, what do you think out of these? What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4. Four
far. The ones that happened this week. Yeah.
Yeah. What? Which one is the most surprising to you?
So the most surprising, I think, would be Raheem Morris in Atlanta. The only reason I say that is because it wasn't one that they had been mentioning that much. I kept hearing Bill Belichick had 2 or 3 interviews. Bobby Slowick had another interview set up. And I know they had one with Raheem Morris, but I didn't really hear anything else after that. I mean, maybe I missed it. Maybe I could be 100% wrong, but I thought the top focus was Belichick and Slowick. And Raheem Morris, I completely forgot, had worked for the Falcons before.
Yeah, he was an intern with the Falcons, I believe. He was an intern with the Falcons, and then I know he got a shot somewhere, right? He was, I think he coached somewhere, but it was early on in his career. Let me see.
It was funny. I was listening to a brief snippet of Sean McVay's podcast with Peter Schrager, and Raheem Morris said something to him. He's like, "How would you feel about me coaching the wide receivers?" And McVay said something like, "How do you even know how to do that?" or something like that. And he goes, "How hard could it be?" "Oh, good fucking job, Julio." You know what I mean? It ain't that hard.
No. He was a head coach early on.
He was the interim head coach, right? At Atlanta.
He was in Tampa from 2009 to 11. So,
right, but wasn't he the interim head coach for the Atlanta Falcons as well at one point, if I'm not mistaken? Or
yeah, he was in 2020.
So they do have a track record with him. Yeah,
he was in Atlanta for 5 years. But I mean, I'm glad to see he got another shot at a head coaching spot because he was 35 when he took over in Atlanta, and then coached a couple seasons, and then obviously moved on. But I think this season could be different for him. Maybe this is what they need. Hopefully,
Yeah, I think
for the
he's
Dynasty community, I hope so.
yeah, for my mental health, I really hope so because I have a lot of stock in Bijan, and I've been going out and getting a lot of Drake London, and I think people should be too. By the way, I
Mm-hmm.
think Drake London is a very good buy. Um, I have heard that Raheem Morris is interested in bringing in the QB coach for the Rams, which would be nice.
Okay.
If they could kind of bring that Rams style of football, Bijan in the Kyron role, maybe Drake London in the Puka Nakua role, it could be
That would
wheels
be
up.
nice. Yeah,
It could be,
but I don't
especially
know. But
they need a quarterback though.
yeah, that's what I was going to say. Desmond Ritter still ain't it. I don't think.
I could see them either they would. I think they have to move up to get one if they're going to do that route.
Mm-hmm.
I think Kirk Cousins is in play for them to trade for. I don't think you'd have to give up that much.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't think it'd cost that much to get him there.
And I think, maybe Justin Fields, that name's been thrown around a lot. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But I think with Raheem Morris, coming from that Rams style, I think Kirk Cousins or drafting a quarterback is probably the route that they're going to go. Just because, look at the Rams and what they've had: Matt Stafford, Jared Goff, very pocket passing quarterbacks. Not so much of Justin Fields, athletic freak type quarterbacks.
What pick are they at?
8 again for the third year in a row.
Oh yeah, 8. I mean, I guess they could. I mean, if they traded back, like Bo Nix is projected like the mid rounder.
Mm-hmm. Michael Penix in the second, maybe late first. His stock. I mean, again, we're going to see both of those guys, or I'm going to see both of those guys at the Senior Bowl this weekend. So their stock could go up or could go down based on how they look this week. There's also another guy I really like, and I know we're kind of going off topic here. Michael Pratt, Tulane quarterback. He's probably going to be a late second, probably third round quarterback. I could see him sneaking into the second just because of the quarterback needy teams that we're, at this point in the NFL. That dude's got a really nice arm. It's not the strongest, but I feel like when he throws it deep, it just kind of drops in a bucket. It's not. It's
Puts
very
the ball
nice,
on guys.
Yeah, and his short to intermediate passing, he's very accurate. I think his college career, he had less than 30 interceptions. That's impressive.
That's decent. I mean,
yeah. So that's somebody I'm going to look forward to. The next, so who was your second? Maybe not the most surprising, but who had the best hire out of the rest?
I think the Chargers. I think that's a lock for the best coach. I think Harbaugh obviously his stock couldn't really be higher coming off of the national championship win. Obviously, I know he had some of that those cheating scandals and all, but whatnot. So yeah, I think that'll really work well for Herbert. Hopefully, he's there long term, and they can stop the coaching carousel for the damn guy.
People keep saying, hold on, I keep seeing people that Harbaugh's going to trade Justin Herbert and draft JJ McCarthy, and
that'd be funny.
I will absolutely lose my mind if that happens.
Well, I mean, if you look at it, he'd probably get a haul. He would get a haul back for him.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it.
You wouldn't trade him?
Herbert? No. I mean, he's only 25 years old, and he's
for what?
He's
what would you get? What would you get? 3 first-round picks?
You would have to get
4 first round.
Yes, at least 3.
I think
that's why those quarterbacks like that, those 25-year-old 25-year-old quarterbacks who still have a whole lot of promise, don't get traded that often because it's just so damn expensive.
Yeah,
it would be crazy though if that happened.
Do it and trade for and draft JJ McCarthy. What is he projected? 3rd round?
What if? What if? This is a big what if because there's no way this happens. What if Atlanta trades the 1-8 plus whatever else they have to get, and Justin Herbert goes to Atlanta? Holy shit!
That would be good.
Yeah,
but it's not fantasy. That's the real NFL.
Yeah.
No. I don't know.
Is
I think that'd be
fun. Real? Is this just fantasy? It's just fantasy. But yeah, Jim
Thank
Harbaugh. Whoa, where are you going there, buddy?
well, you were just singing Queens.
Oh, I thought your computer was skipping on me. No, Jim Harbaugh is a very good hire. I know that was kind of like the hand-picked place that he wanted to go because he wanted to work with Justin Herbert from all reports.
And Los Angeles isn't a bad place to be in.
No, I would imagine.
I mean, not a bad city.
And it's his second time in California. When he was the San Francisco 49ers head coach.
Yeah.
And you could easily say, I mean, Kaepernick for that period of time was a very talented quarterback. But Justin Herbert's another level of quarterback.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He's probably the best quarterback he's ever coached and may ever coach. Who knows?
How long was he in San Francisco? Not that long.
It wasn't super long. But, I mean, that team was good. That team was very good.
Yeah. I mean, they went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the lights went out and they lost to the Ravens.
Remember that, dude? I was watching. I'm like, what the fuck is going on
here? I thought The Undertaker was about to come out just based on wrestling again.
Yeah, right? Let me see, Jim. Where did he go after that? HAR. He didn't get right to Michigan.
No, he didn't go right to Michigan from there. He went somewhere else.
He did.
Did he go right to Michigan from there?
Yeah, from 2015 to 2023.
Oh, wow. I didn't think
before
he was there
that was at Stanford.
Long. Oh, before the 49ers. Yeah.
Stanford, 49ers, Michigan, Chargers.
It's like he's going to go back to college again and then come back to the NFL.
Hey, yeah.
But yeah, I like that hire. I think he brings a very good mind to that organization who really needs an overhaul. Because, they are in cap hell. And they really need to do some fixing over there.
They need. I don't know what the hell they need. They have a nice setup, but their 1 and 2 are always hurt, and then you got alligator arms taking over, and that's can't do much with that guy. I mean, thank God I got rid of him. Thank you, God.
I saw somebody post on Twitter today a comparison of Quentin Johnston and Keon Coleman.
Oof.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't believe it.
He said no.
The level of competition in that Florida State plays as opposed to TCU is ridiculous. We know that, right? Mm-hmm. It's just that they're both 6'4". They both have the same body build. That's probably it.
I think he's a bit thicker than Quentin Johnson. I think Quentin's pretty lean.
Is he?
Yeah. The other two hires, I liked both of these, believe it or not. I liked the Tennessee getting Brian Callahan, the Bengals offensive coordinator, and I liked Carolina getting Dave Canales, the OC for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Which of those two, I'm going to ask two separate questions. Which of you think turns it around faster, and which do you think went to a better situation?
I think on both accounts. Well, let me start by first Carolina, Dave Canales. I think that was my most surprising hire.
But, I forgot to ask you. Yeah, that was your most surprising.
I kind of saw Vrabel going there for some reason, but I guess not. What he did with Baker, which was sensational last year. So I mean, you can only go up from there. Mm-hmm. But who I think turns it around faster and best situation are both Tennessee. I think Tennessee turns it around quicker. I think they're a better situation. Carolina is literally probably the worst situation you could be in. Almost.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
With the terms of they ain't got no draft picks.
Mm-hmm.
They put all their eggs in one basket, and last year looked like shit. Their GM and owner are terrible.
Both those teams awful. Have pretty bad owners, though.
Yeah, but GMs. I think Carolina's pretty brutal.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of screwed. They have no first round pick, and they just kind of sit and hope something falls to them. Hope they can sign. I keep seeing all these AI generated things. I don't know if you see it,
like T. Higgins and stuff.
Yeah, like T. Higgins. I see Mike Evans. I'm like, number one, Mike Evans is a Hall of Famer and a 10-year veteran. Why the hell would he want to go to a dumpster fire in Carolina?
Yeah,
why would he want to go there? Why would he? You know what I mean?
Not that I could see that not happening.
Right. No, there's absolutely
T. Higgins T. Higgins would be an interesting one because he's still so young.
He's young, yeah.
And he could grow with Bryce Young. I think that makes sense. I think that's a possibility. I would just have to. I don't know what Carolina's cap space or anything looks like. I would
Yeah.
imagine it's not super, bad. I would imagine it's
Right.
pretty good because they don't have a whole lot of high value players on that team right now. Um, I do kind of agree with you though that the Tennessee hire of Brian Callahan. Um, I like that. I like that for Will Levis, being as Canales has worked with. I'm sorry, Callahan has
Callahan.
worked with. That's going to keep screwing me up.
Yeah.
But has worked with Joe Burrow, Peyton Manning in the past, stuff like that. So
And
I think it's
wasn't either him or his father is offensive line coach, so like that could kind of help, surround Levis with a good offensive line to keep him upright. I think that was my first thought.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, I like the fact that he's come from a good, system, a good, a good quarterback tree that he's worked with to come over and help a young quarterback. That has shown some promise. When it comes to Canales and Carolina, like you mentioned, they have no first round pick. I think their first pick is in the second round, which I mean is not terrible, but like they need all the help they can get right now, especially as a wide receiving help for Bryce Young. But you mentioned, Canales really, and Tampa in general, kind of revitalized Baker's, career, and it looks like he's going to get another contract. So
As
there
he
is
should.
hope. Yeah, he should. There is some hope for Bryce Young, and I think, this helps his dynasty stock a little bit because I feel like it was starting to plummet, and I still feel like it's pretty low. Um, you know, we'll see. It's a very wait and see with Bryce Young. I wasn't super high on him coming out, but he's still super talented.
Yeah, I mean, I have him, so I'm hoping it helps, man. I'm hoping it helps. I went with him over CJ Stroud. Woof.
Mm-hmm.
But who knows?
I mean, so if he gets a guy like T. Higgins, I think I feel like he's got to have a better season than last year.
He's got to because he's not really throwing anyone. I mean, Adam Thielen had a good season, but what was that?
The crypt keeper, Adam Thielen, not like Adam Thielen from 4 or 5 years ago.
You need to get him a guy he's going to grow with.
The wide receivers, by the way, free agent wide receivers. You have T. Higgins, Michael Pittman. There's a few more, so it's a pretty nice.
Quez Watkins.
Yeah, he can go to Carolina. He's probably going to end up being their number one. But it's a nice free agent pool of wide receivers that they could. Yeah, I don't think Pittman's going anywhere, but I feel like they need to be in on T. Higgins. Like they need to.
Yeah, they throw the bag at him, I guess.
They have to. Absolutely have to. But I do like both those hires. Are you surprised that Belichick is still available, Vrabel is still available, Ben Johnson, not Brian Johnson, and Pete Carroll are still available? Are you surprised those four are still available?
So I think what's happening with Ben Johnson, as far as Ben Johnson's concerned,
I know what
they're still
say.
playing.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be in Washington at some point. I think they're kind of waiting and seeing what's going on with these games tomorrow and Sunday. As for Pete Carroll, to me, it's like he's 70. He's like 75. It's I mean, almost the same as Belichick, but I mean, different ilk. Pete Carroll I think there's a disconnect with the players of today and him. He's an older guy. He's an old school guy. You gotta find a guy who's going to make connection with the young guys, and that's just the way it is. That's the way the
NFL's going.
Yeah, I mean, who is it? Oh, Gerard Mayo. He's just became the youngest coach, younger than Sean McVay. I mean, that's just the way it seems to be going. I'm not surprised with Pete Carroll, Bill Belichick. I mean, I think he kind of wanted a lot of control. I mean, we all kind of knew that. We knew that. Right. And I mean, I talked about it on Twitter the other day. I think his resume speaks for itself, but then again, it kind of is a double-edged sword because it speaks for itself that he has 6 rings, but it also speaks for himself that he could not draft, a beer. Like if he went up to a draft, pour a draft beer, he would miss the cup. You know what I mean? Like he's
he
so
wanted a Miller
bad.
Lite and he's got a Yingling.
Yeah, right. Like he couldn't be more off. I don't
Right.
understand. I don't understand how that even happens. But he kind of like tries to outthink everyone all the time, and literally it never paid off for him. I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, within the first round, late rounds, that's just crapshoot. I'm not going to say he's a genius for drafting. Who did he draft late? Probably Brewski. Let's say Brewski was. I'm pretty sure Brewski was late. I mean, you're just throwing darts at a dartboard at that point.
Right.
So I think that was kind of the reluctancy that teams had. We're like, well, we kind of gotta give up the whole control. And it seemed like he wasn't ready to give that up or relinquish the control. So that's where I am with that. I think he sits out a year.
Yeah, I think so too.
Sees kind of what opens up next year. But like, it ain't looking too good. Well, I mean, the Eagles probably, the Bears. I mean, this year is a prove it year for Nick Sirianni. I think if it goes the same way, I don't think he gets the same. He doesn't come back.
No, I don't think he makes it through the whole season. Nick Sirianni.
Right.
But with Belichick, though, I 100% agree with you. I think that's why Atlanta was a little reluctant.
Yeah.
And we talked about it last episode. I'm kind of like happy that he didn't go to Atlanta, just because like I didn't want Bijan to get like 40 carries one day and then the next 3 weeks it's like 2.5.
Yeah,
carries.
I hate that shit.
Yeah, and I would absolutely that would just be the detriment to the Dynasty community again. What about Vrabel? Are you a little surprised that Vrabel hasn't been hired?
Yeah, I am. Like I said, I thought he was going to be Carolina. I think there's still one job really open. I think that goes to Dan Quinn, but I mean, he could get. I mean, he's cool. He wears his hat backwards, so like, there's nothing more that like makes me think you're a total dork when he's on the team. Number one, he's up in the booth. Like, you're so like, why are you up in the booth? And
I mean, a lot of defensive coordinators.
He's sitting there like this.
A lot of defensive coordinators do from the booth.
Do they? Do they though? Yeah.
I feel like a lot do because they can see different formations a little bit better from up top.
I think it's lame. I don't know.
You're being very old school right now, Richard.
I mean, what, Sean Dasani Water was up there? That was it. That's who was up there. And where's he at now? The unemployment line.
Real quick, is Matt Patricia gone or is he still there?
Yeah, he's pursuing other options or opportunities.
But yeah, Vrabel. So the only job really open is Seattle, and it doesn't look like that's what's going to happen. Like, I don't think Vrabel's going there. It doesn't seem that way. Like, we could get shocked, like we have been, with a few of these hires. Dan Quinn, I am surprised. Like, after that debacle against Green Bay, like, I'm still surprised he's getting like offers for interviews and stuff. Yeah, he's a very good defensive coordinator, but like, look, we talked about Atlanta earlier. Like, he didn't do much in Atlanta for, But
I think it's I don't know. I think a lot of teams are kind of trying to go towards the new young. Let's try to find this guy. When it comes to head coaches, so they might be ushered out. Those kind of guys. But Mike Vrabel's not that old. Like he's got to be like in his 40s.
Yeah, I think he waits it out another year. It doesn't. I mean, it's possible that he's maybe in the next season's coaching circle.
Do you think he takes a coordinator job?
He might. We have to see.
To like kind of like.
Hold on. What's
get
this?
the taste of being a coach?
Vince McMahon resigns as WWE chairman.
Wow.
But anyway.
That's a surprise.
Yeah. But yeah. So back to what you said about Ben Johnson. I think you're right. That is the future Washington Commanders head football coach. I think, like you said, they're waiting for the playoffs to be over. And, like, just think of the decent situation that he's going into, believe it or not. Like, we don't think Washington's very good, but, they have the second overall pick. You have the chance to turn your franchise around with a brand new quarterback. I don't think they stick with Sam Howell. I think they go Drake May or Jaden Daniels, whatever their pick.
That kind of sucks, but... I think he should have promised. Like, he definitely wasn't like a Taylor Heineke there, like, who was like older and like he won games. This guy's young and he wasn't afraid to throw the ball. Like, I thought he looked all right.
See, yeah, I get that, but like, there's a few things that kind of make me think they're going to do that. So it's a brand new coaching staff. It's a brand new front office. They're going to want to bring their guy in, and like they have the opportunity to get one of the best 2 quarterbacks in this draft, whichever one they think that is. And the next year's quarterback class doesn't look too great. Just looking at it from the future standpoint, I think it would be hard for them to pass up a quarterback right now.
But I feel
especially
like that's
with Ben Johnson coming in.
Yeah, I feel you, but like I feel like that's the same thing every year. It's like, well, the quarterback class, there's always going to be a guy for you to take. You know what I mean? It just seems that way. Like there's not always going to be a Marvin Harrison Jr. on the board. You know what I mean?
There's also
like
not going to be
a Drake May,
a Caleb Williams. Like who knows? I mean, I feel like Caleb Williams. They could move up to get him. Who knows?
Yeah, and I feel like I don't know.
That would make sense. Like they move up to 1, and the Bears move down to 2 and take Harrison. And
do you think they moved to number 1?
Who, Washington? I think it's definitely open.
No. Does Chicago? Do you think Chicago moves?
Oh yeah, we talked about this. I think last week. Yeah. I think I would look into the option of doing that because of the way they could completely turn their franchise around with the amount of capital they could get.
What are they at? 1-8, 1-9,
1-9.
Damn, dude.
They could do a lot. Like if they move back, like say like 4 spots, they could do so much. They could get the best left tackle. I think it's the dude from Notre Dame. Alt. They could get a lot, man.
But
they could get the defensive end and then get a wide receiver at 9. They could do a lot.
That's exciting, dude. I mean, it's like exciting for us because we like to like draft and shit like that. But like, just to be a fan of Chicago, kind of probably bleed.
Oh, it has to be. Like, it has to be misery right now, and it's got to be confusing too because I'm sure there's a lot of people asking that question, like, what should we do? You know what I mean?
Right.
But I actually have a quick thing that I found yesterday. Somebody posted it on Twitter, and I think it is the most Washington Commanders thing I have ever seen in my life. Do you want to hear what the Washington Commanders coaching staff looked like at one point?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
So you ready for this? Kyle Shanahan, offense coordinator. We all know Kyle Shanahan is now the coach of the San Francisco 49ers, possibly heading to the Super Bowl. Tight ends coach, Sean McVay, head coach of the Los Angeles Rams. That guy's a former Super Bowl winner. I would say he's a pretty damn good coach. Next one is Mike McDaniel. Everybody loves Mike McDaniel down in Miami. He was the wide receivers coach. The quarterback coach was Matt LaFleur, as you may know from the Green Bay Packers head coach. Bobby Slowick, a highly sought-after offensive coordinator from the Houston Texans, was the defensive assistant in Washington. And Raheem Morris, who is the now head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, was the defensive backs coach. How the fuck do you sell that to your franchise, that your fan base, that all those guys are on their coaching staff in 2013, and none of them are there, and none of them are the head coach of your football team?
That's kind of wild, isn't it? Like you got to be like, they got to be like thinking like none of these, maybe 2 of these guys will pan out. They're like, nah, dude, every one of them is going to be like, yep. I mean, but that's just the way that Washington. You said it yourself. That's just, there couldn't be something more Commander/Redskins. Is that like that's just the way they, the owner is a nightmare. The whole name debacle and you wanting to change it, and then Native Americans not wanting to change it, currently fighting to get it changed back, and then you got all the coaches. You got the stadium that's held together by zip ties. We've been there.
Killed Jalen Hurts.
That almost took out our boy. That place is an absolute dump.
Right.
But and now under new ownership again with Harris, the mega money mogul over here, who owns the Sixers, owns the Devils, owns Washington, whatever. That's a story for a different day. But maybe he'll revitalize the team, pump some money into it, level that stadium, put up like
they have to. That's not great.
I'm surprised a stiff wind don't blow it over. I mean, it's probably. Yeah, it's better than MetLife, but
you think so? I haven't been to MetLife in quite some time, but I
haven't either. But I know for a fact, I know for people's ACLs, it's better. It's definitely better. I can go solely based off of yeah.
Oh, just I thought solely you meant like the stadium in general. Like Washington Stadium's pretty damn bad.
Yeah, no, just the playing surface. I think we could safely say that MetLife is the worst stadium in the NFL because of that the ACL claimer itself. Who I think how many what is like 14 ACLs this year?
Mm-hmm.
Something like
Yeah,
that.
something
And
like
then
that.
there's like Achilles injuries and other ankle injuries there, but I digress. Yeah, that's good. Typical Washington fashion.
As Bruce Almighty
That
would
was
say,
under
that is the way the cookie crumbles.
that was under Jay Gruden, right?
2013. Yeah, it had to be.
Yeah, under under the AFL legend Jay Gruden.
Who was like fighting with Robert Griffin III on Twitter for like 3 days straight. I was like,
I mean,
what is happening?
he's fighting. He's racing pigeons.
That was
That's
actually
so
a pretty
weird.
funny that was a pretty funny comeback though.
Where is it? Yeah, wait, Los Angeles. I was a consultant. Okay.
What happened?
I was just reading the Jay Gruden's illustrious career of the Florida Tuskers.
Is that where he is now? I actually have no
No,
idea.
he was there in 09. He was actually with the Rams in 2022, but that's it. But he's an Arena Football Hall of Famer, dude. You got to
Is
put
he?
some respect
Hey,
on his
hell
name.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
He was there for
All right, so I think that pretty much wraps up our coaching conversation. I mean, I guess does Bobby Slowick get a job? We forgot to mention him. Like
maybe he moves laterally. I don't know. I know the Eagles are looking. I
that
know
don't really happen too often where they get like lateral moves, especially somebody who's like very close to getting a head coaching job.
Yeah.
I think he would stay put, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, if I'm him, I would want to stay there.
I would take him over Dan Quinn in
Yeah.
Seattle.
Well, they're very. I mean, it's very different based off your style. Like, if you want a
Oh
defensive,
yeah.
I mean, I think personally, Dan Quinn will probably be better in Seattle than Slow, just because they have nobody there at quarterback. So it's like, really, who do you have to work with? Whereas their
Drew Lock.
defense, yeah, that
Whatever that
fucking
like
that
backpack.
turd. Yeah, I think he was putting on a jacket or something. It was like it was cold. It was like,
I don't know. I
whatever.
like Drew.
We all ended up in Cancun.
True, we did. All right, so you want to get into the Dynasty Royal Rumble?
Yeah, sure, man. I'll do.
So wait, let's explain it one more. Let's explain it one more time. What it is?
Go ahead.
You want me to? All right. So what it is basically is our version of the Keep Trade Cut, in honor of the Royal Rumble tomorrow night, which is Saturday. If you're listening to this at some point during the week, basically I'm going to be giving, and Rich is going to be giving 2 to 3 players, and we're going to decide which players we're keeping and which players are getting eliminated, thrown over the top rope. Who's getting out of here? So let's go with the first one. What do you want to go? Me to go first? Or you want to go first?
I'll go first.
All right, go ahead.
So, entering at 1, 2, and 3, we have it looks like it's a 26-man Royal Rumble.
Is it really only 20? All right, well, I'll come up with some in my brain while we're doing this.
There'll be the mystery entrances,
the surprise guest.
Yes,
the Pete Roses,
the Pete Rose and the Hurricane Helms.
Hey, listen, no, we're not disrespect. First of all, we can disrespect Pete Rose all we want because we're Philadelphians, but we are not disrespecting Hurricane Helms. Stand back.
I can't wait to hear you say that 58 times tomorrow until he comes out.
Oh, dude, I love that guy. But anyway, all right, let's give me the first one.
Entering at 1, 2, and 3, we have Rashee Rice, wide receiver 27. We have Tank Dell, a wide receiver 39, and we have Zay Flowers at 30.
Yeah, so that's where they finished this year. Wide receiver 27, 39, and 30. So this one was very tough for me. It was between 2. It's between Zay Flowers and Tank Dell for me. So I really like Rashee Rice. Don't get me wrong. I do think they are going to have an offensive facelift coming soon with Travis Kelce leaving, Andy Reid possibly retiring.
Leaving? Where's Travis Kelce going?
He could be retiring. Who knows? But like Andy Reid might retire. So we don't really know what this Kansas City offense is going to look like next year. And people are predicting they draft another wide receiver. So for me, based on who I really, because all 3 of these are extremely talented. You would agree, right?
Mm-hmm.
To me, based on who I liked coming into the draft, because since they're so close, points wise, I would go with Zay Flowers
Okay.
personally. I like what Baltimore has been doing. This year, obviously, they could be heading to the Super Bowl. I like his connection with Lamar Jackson. Lamar seems to really like Zay Flowers. He had a great season. I think Zay Flowers is the pick for me. What about yourself?
All right, I'm going to go the complete opposite of you. I'm going to go Rashee Rice.
Okay.
I think Rashee, they're kind of going to tailor the offense towards him. You watch the games, you see the absolute highlight reel that this guy is turning into.
Mhm.
He had a decent year, but there's only room to go up. You know what I mean? I
So
think,
that you could say the same thing for Zay Flowers though. That dude is almost damn near uncoverable. Like that dude is putting dudes on skates.
yeah, and you know what? Those two are obviously the closest with 27 and 30. So, yeah, I mean, you could go either way.
Yeah,
I would
I
just,
couldn't fault you either way, to be
yeah,
honest.
I'm
I
just
just
going with
prefer
him
Zay.
because and you have, unfortunately, the best quarterback of
Sure.
our generation, almost. We're ushering in the next generation of quarterbacks with Pat Mahomes. Can't stand the guy, but he's good. Um, he just looked awesome. I mean, I traded for him, so maybe that's why I want him to be really good. No, but I think he just looks good. He looks like
You know
he's
what's
ready to roll.
crazy? As much as you and I had talked about a lot of these guys, last year, how much I really liked Zay Flowers.
Mm-hmm.
I have no shares of Zay Flowers on any of my dynasty rosters. And that's
No,
not from lack of trying. It was just like either I picked too far behind
away.
where he went
Mm-hmm.
or way too early. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like I just didn't have the chance to take
Dude,
him, unfortunately.
that's the story of every year for me with
Mhm.
tight ends. Like
Yeah,
every single time I'm like, dude, I can't reach for a tight end right now. So I'm like, I'm always at that part where I'm like, dude, I cannot take him right now. And
right.
then by the time it's my turn to take a tight end, I'm ending up with Jonnu Smith, who actually didn't have a bad
Then
season
that
this year.
bad, but still.
That was the
uh,
first
yeah, my
name I.
top three from that class was JSN, Addison, Flowers, and all three of those guys look pretty damn good.
Yeah. I don't know. Did Addison have an alright? I didn't
Yeah,
really
he
pay
did.
attention to that
Yeah,
much.
he kind of went under the radar, but he was really good when Jefferson was out
Yeah, that
for a big
makes
stretch
sense.
of games. Yeah. You want me to go to the next one?
Yes, sir.
All right. So we have running back 20 entering at number 4, DeAndre Swift, going up against running back 23 of the same state, Pittsburgh Steelers, Najee Harris, versus Tony Pollard at running back 14. Who would you rather have on your dynasty roster, and who's getting eliminated?
Who would I rather have, or who do I have?
Well, who do you rather have?
They're the same people. I'm going Tony Pollard.
Okay.
Tony Pollard, Najee Harris. I really am kind of like over him.
Mm-hmm.
He's been underwhelming for me since really he came in. Unfortunately, DeAndre Swift, I don't think he's coming back. I really hope to God he does.
I
But
think he's going to.
you think he's going to?
Gone.
Oh,
Gone.
okay. You said going to. That was too fast.
Sorry.
We know how he works with running backs. We get excited with one guy and then he's gone and he finds another guy. Um, I don't think he comes back. I don't know what kind of situation he goes into. Tony Pollard, I feel like does go back to Dallas.
I
I
think
feel like
that's,
it's
yeah,
I feel like it's
I
almost a
think.
lock that they may prioritize that. Within that offense, he looked all right this past. Not the high numbers that people thought. He was going early, first, second round in some drafts, but I mean not that high. But I think he kind of turns it around next season. Whereas Swift is a wild card, and Najee Harris I couldn't be lower on,
All right.
to be honest.
So
How
we're
about
going to
you?
disagree again.
Okay.
We're going to completely disagree again. Yeah, I'm going with Najee Harris, believe it or not.
Mm.
So you would be surprised to find out that Najee Harris is a year younger than Tony Pollard. Would you be surprised by that?
If you tell me he's 27 years old like last
No.
episode, I'm going to lose
No,
my
no.
goddamn mind.
He's 25 and Pollard's 26.
Okay.
Um, So that plays a little bit of part of it. But so going into last year, I think you and I had both. We actually, yes, he was on when I did the Cowboys. I had him as my doghouse candidate, Tony Pollard, because a lot of people had him as a a top 10 running back, and obviously he didn't finish as one. I mean, obviously he's still pretty close, but I just don't really. I see the talent, but like I don't know if he's like a number one bona fide running back on a team. You know what I mean? I feel like he's a very good number two.
Okay.
And you could say the same for Najee, but I mean, Najee. It seems like the past 2 years has started out extremely slow and then has kind of picked it up randomly towards the end of the season when it's time to really start grinding things out. They kind of start feeding him a little bit more. And again, when Matt Canada was gone, his points went up. So let me read you off real quick. Where did he go? Najee Harris. So the last 3 weeks of the season, he was 13.8, 24.2, 24.3. So, I mean, I like Najee. I think he's underrated. I would like to see him get more involved in that Pittsburgh offense. And hopefully with a new offense coordinator, whoever they get, hopefully they feature him a little bit more. And that's kind of what I'm going with, just based on a hope and a prayer, I guess. And I think Najee is a very good running back. It's just not utilized enough.
You know what, dude? Jaylen Warren looks good too, dude.
He does.
He looks good, and
again,
if you look at
he's another one punch kind of guy. You know what I mean? Just like Pollard.
Right. So I think the reason why I say Najee would be third out of these bunches because of that, and because if you look at say DeAndre does come back to the Eagles, so you have DeAndre, and then you really have nobody. We both know this.
I feel like
we could say Ken. Well, yeah, maybe Karam. I butcher names. Not like Roscoe. Roscoe Johnson.
I actually think they would go for a kind of a grinder running back.
Like I hope so. Like Jordan Howard. Pounder. Like I've been saying it for.
So we're going off topic again, but I watched this week Trey Benson, the Florida State running back, and that dude hangs and bangs. Like that dude is a broken tackle, run through the middle running back, kind of like a Jordan Howard. I comped him to J.H.I. So I kind of like that comp. The only thing is he does kind of seem to seek out contact when he doesn't really need to, which the Eagles could use that for goal line purposes instead of trying to put Jalen in harm's way. But
I mean, like I said, I think Swift because he was the guy, Tony Pollard because he's the guy, and then Najee because you have Warren, so it's like kind of like he's 1-2. He could vulture touchdowns from you, stuff like that. So that's where I am with that.
Okay.
All right, for our next round, entering at
number
7, 8, and 9, we got Dakota Rain Prescott, we got Tua Tagovailoa, and we got Justin Fields. Now this one is it's decent, kind of not that tough for me to pick, but in terms of dynasty standpoint, I'm going Tua. I'm taking Tua. He kind of turned it around for me. He kind of proved it to me this year because I remember, in older episodes we talked about, I thought he was done. I thought he was a hit away from being a vegetable. With that horrific injury we all remember burning our brains when he got that concussion and his hands were all like that. Was some scary shit. So to just have the season he kind of had this season, and you have him he was at QB9, Dak was at QB3, and Fields at 18. I'm surprised that he finished as low as 9. I thought
he started out really hot.
Fires the ball. Yeah.
He started out really hot and then started to fizzle towards the end.
Justin Fields, I don't know what the hell Chicago's doing. But I mean, even though he is a young quarterback, he's still kind of developing his arm. He's a threat on his legs. He's made some
progress this year.
Yeah, he's made some progress, but he's still behind.
Oh yeah.
So that's why he's there. And Dak, he's older, and He does have weapons. I think he only threw nine picks this year.
Yeah, it's very low for Dak.
Yeah,
Because
he said he wasn't going to
it
throw
was
10.
looking bad.
So
Yeah, I actually 100% agree with you on this one. I am going with Tua as my winner of this round. We both had Tua in our top 12 dynasty quarterbacks last week, and we didn't have the other two listed at all. So it would kind of be counteractive to both of us on our rankings. But yeah, you know what? Tua is in a very good situation. He has a very good head coach. He has an elite wide receiver in Tyreek Hill, and he has a very elite possible outcome in Jalen Waddle as well. They have a better running game, I would say, with Mostert and Achane than Dak does in Dallas. So I just think everything around Tua is better right now. He's obviously younger than Dak, but I would definitely take Tua over Dak. And then with Fields, again, like you mentioned, he's a real wild card right now. Well, I really like Fields, and I wanted to put him in my top 12 last week. It was just hard because I don't know what the future holds for Justin Fields right now. Is he an Atlanta Falcon? Is he a Chicago Bear? Is he, a Minnesota Viking, which I don't think happens, but I'm just throwing shit out there. I want to see where he goes, but I think the pick for me out of these three would be Tua. I would probably even lean Fields over Dak, just based on age and the rushing ability and stuff like that. Because who knows, we might see Dak go back to like throwing 13, 20 interceptions next year, and I hate that coaching staff, Mike McCarthy. So yeah, I agree. Tua is the pick. Tua is my guy.
sorry, I had to go get a sweatshirt. I'm a little cold.
No problem. But yeah, I went with Tua as well.
Okay.
Let's get a tight end one in there. You ready?
Yeah, man.
So coming in at number 10, finishes tight end 8, Cole Kmet. Then we got Evan Ingram, who finishes tight end 6, and we have a wild card in Michael Mayer, who finishes tight end 30. That kind of take that as a grain of salt. Little injured season, kind of a very tumultuous time in Oakland or Las Vegas, whatever the hell. So you kind of take that with a grain of salt. You kind of give him a mulligan, I guess, for next year. Who is your pick for this one?
So, unfortunately, I took Michael Mayer also in our dynasty league. I passed on all the other guys. So that's brutal. But out of these three guys, I'm taking Ingram, dude. I think Ingram looked awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Watching him actually get an opportunity and get rewarded for that opportunity after signing the contract
that's big too.
Jacksonville. Because it gives a guy a sense of it gives a guy a sense of he's wanted there. It gives him a chance to grow and flourish with my guy, Trevor Lawrence. But I'm going with him. He finished the year at tight end 6, which top 10 guy, dude, and and I did not expect that from him. So,
okay.
I think he's only going up from here. How about you?
So I actually agree with you. While I really like Cole Kmet, I obviously feel like they're going to add another wide receiver, and then he becomes the third option at that point with DJ Moore and the new wide receiver, whoever they get, and then Cole Kmet. And while I really like Cole Kmet, Evan Ingram is probably the best pass catcher on the Jacksonville Jaguars currently. And he showed that this year. And he was a pleasant surprise for me. I liked Evan Ingram. Very athletic tight end. Underrated, maybe just not utilized properly. And it seems like they kind of figured him out this year. So yeah, I would go with Evan Ingram. And then Michael Mayer, like I mentioned, it was kind of just like a shit season all around in Vegas. Yeah, I kind of give him a mulligan on that one. Mayer was somebody I liked and you liked as well. It's just he's a wait and see right now. I just wanted to throw him in there just because they kind of have the same value.
Yeah,
but
he's got to be, like you said, mulligan's a good word for it. Just because you had Jimmy G, who's ass. You got Aiden O'Connell, who my buddy says looks like me. I kind of see it.
That would actually good question. Let me look that up. Hold on. I'm going to look up what Aiden. I forget what he looks like. So hold on.
Ethan said he looks like me. So every time he's playing?
Yeah, kind of.
Does he? Like he has
A
a
little bit.
mustache? I'm like,
Hold
I
on.
guess, yeah.
Let me see. Hold on. Hold on. I'm going to see. Let me see. No, hold on. I want to click on something else. I don't want him as a like throwing a football because you couldn't do that.
Yeah, right.
Well,
I was a flag football quarterback. All right.
so here's what Aiden O'Connell looks like, and you guys can all see what Rich looks like.
Yeah. Dude, click on
Yeah,
the
I can.
mustache one. Click on the mustache one.
Oh wait, I don't know why I'm trying to do. Hold on. He does kind of look like you, to be honest. All right, that's
Yeah, it
enough of that.
does. Dude, it does.
But yeah,
Yeah, that's good, dude. That's good.
but yeah, I would say with and you forgot to even mention the coaching change in Las Vegas.
Can we talk about that for like 1 second and how absolutely ass Josh McDaniels is, dude?
Oh, he's awful. That's
Josh.
probably why we forgot to mention it. That's probably why nobody hired Bill Belichick, because I guarantee you he was like, I want Josh McDaniels as my offense coordinator, and I want Matt Patricia as my defensive coordinator. Like, get the hell out of here.
Dude, they're talking about him going back to New England. How many times can you dip your pen in that?
I
How
don't know.
many goddamn times? That dude stinks.
It's awful. It's awful. Ugh. All right, let's get to the. You want me to read this next one off for you since you read? Or no, I did that one. Okay,
yeah, dude.
Up. My bad.
13, 14, and 15.
The Aiden O'Connell thing threw me off.
All right, so we got. Oh my god, I already know how this is going to end. We have George Pickens at wide receiver 29, or in Mike's heart, number 1. We got Deebo Samuel at 15, and who do we get? Reed? Jaden Reed? Okay. Mm-hmm. At 25. I thought so. Yeah, Mike, let's hear your beautiful rendition of your love songs. I know who it is. For me.
So it's George Pickens.
Surprise.
I've never been a Deebo guy, like at all. I think he's very talented. He's a very talented wide receiver. He obviously finished, what did we say? Wide receiver
15.
So obviously he's pretty damn good fantasy football purposes. But I think George Pickens offers a much higher upside than all three of them. Well, out of the three of them, he offers the most upside. And when they put Mason Rudolph in at quarterback, which was not on my fucking bingo card, George Pickens like completely went through the roof and ended up as a 1,000-yard wide receiver. Like I didn't think he was going to the rate it was going with Kenny Pickett and everything like that. But he had a very nice wide receiver. It says wide receiver 29, but I know he finished because this is going off even based on week 18 when he had no catches or anything like that. Because they pretty much just did nothing. They already solidified their spot. But going into the last week of the season, he was like a top 24 wide receiver. So I think he has the highest upside. It's just they got to figure out that offense.
Okay, I mean I could see that, but I'm gonna go with Deebo, but I want to get back to Pickens real quick. I just think the reason why I'm taking Deebo over Jaden Reed and over Pickens is just because Pickens, I feel like, dude, he's got everything a great wide receiver is, including the diva mentality times like 1,000.
Dude, Deebo's got that too, though.
But he's not on the sideline throwing his helmet and throwing a bitch fit, dude. He's down there like, damn it. Like, dude, bro, grow up. Grow up, dude. Like, and I think that's going to kind of like really, really, stunt his growth. I hope not, because I like him. But at the same time, dude, that is what scares me away from him. And the fact that I don't know what the hell's going on in Pittsburgh. Do you think Kenny Littlehands is going to actually...
Dude, I don't know. It was a little bit of a red flag when he was healthy and they didn't put him back in. Like, they continued in Mason Rudolph. The offense looked different because he was just like, all right, I'm throwing it 40 yards. Let's just see what happens.
When you got a guy when you got a guy who has to pick up a football with two hands, I'm kind of like, I kind of want to stay away from him. It's just, I don't know. Where are they drafting at? You know,
They're towards
they're
like
kind
the
of
end
always
because
teeners, right?
they're well,
And they made the playoffs, so
yeah, they made the
may,
playoffs, so that's tough.
may,
Let me look and I'll double check that real quick.
but they're always in a position where it's like you're not really able, like where I am with tight ends.
They're number
They're not really able to draft a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, they're second round picks, but like they always seem to be like they had Ben. Now they don't really know what to do. I don't
I think
think
they
Kenny
could use
Pickett's
some
a guy.
offensive line help.
Yeah. So do you think if they take offensive lineman, do you think Kenny Pickett turns into someone of value, or do you think he's just a
That's
dud?
another possible landing spot for Justin Fields.
That would be something, huh?
Yeah, that'd be fun.
That would. I mean, that would make me take Pickens.
Yeah,
I
I think
think
so
even
too.
yeah.
Even I took him anyway. I just think I think he's the most high upside guy out of those three. And Jaden Reed, let's not forget, this dude is fucking good. Like this dude can play. It's just that Green Bay offense. It feels like it's Dobbs, Watson, Reed, Musgrave, Kraft. It could be any five of those guys at any point. Yeah. And it's just like it's hard to tell right now.
I thought I had Jaden Reed. Did I have Jaden Reed?
I'd have Jaden Reed.
Did I drop him?
No, you didn't.
Who did I have? I had someone.
You have Dobbs, I think.
I had Dobbs, I think. That's who it was. I couldn't remember which young wide receiver I had from them. So I like the reason why I'm taking Debo is because he's obviously his catch making ability, but also he's like CJGJ says he's a running back, so he takes snaps, out of the backfield, which also adds to his production.
CMC there.
Yeah,
he gets a bit banged up too.
He does. Yeah.
All right, let's get into the next one. This is just a 2-1. So this has been a popular conversation on the Twitter sphere, the X sphere, the X Force, whatever. Tajay Spears or a late 2024 first. So think of it as anywhere between 110 to 112 or 19 to 112. Would that be? Yeah. Let's call it 110 on the dot for Tajay.
Let me ask you, where do you think Brock Bowers gets drafted?
In the rookie drafts?
Yeah.
Oh, top
so
6.
Are you, okay, that's what I'm asking. So if I'm like, if I have a chance at Brock Bowers, I'm taking the
at 110, no.
No, that's what I'm saying. I know I threw you through a loop there, but if I had a chance at him, I would take him. Tajay Spears, I'm going to take Spears on this one. I'm going to take Spears. Derrick Henry's gone. You're going to have a young quarterback, young running back that he's going to slide into the RB1 role. And he showed flashes this season.
Some good flashes too.
Yeah. I forget where I drafted him. I drafted him in. So
I think they bring in another running back.
Yeah.
I do think to kind of like, with the ACL injuries, that he tore his ACL twice. They're going to bring in like a Derrick Henry-esque type of running back, I would imagine.
Like a Rashad Penny.
Yeah. Tajay's more like the LaShawn McCoy, cuts on a dime, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you. I would go with Tajay over the first. And the reason I say that is because, people are so concerned with his knees and everything like that. And, he's probably not an RB1, this, that. He has the talent to definitely be one. But my thing is we talk about it all the fucking time. Dynasty fantasy football is 2 to 3 year windows. Can I win in 2 to 3 years? Because who knows how long your league is going to last? Because you have leagues all the time folding, because somebody doesn't really want to be involved anymore. They don't want to do this. They don't want to do that.
Right.
I think Tajay Spears for at least another 2 to 3 years has running back 1 upside. Maybe not running back 1, but definitely top 15. I think that's fair to say. He's got the talent to do it.
Yeah. I mean, and that's, watching him play, it kind of gives you the, wow, I'm going to take a chance on this guy. So
that dude's fucking electric, man.
Yeah. He's quick, dude.
I love it.
He's quick as a hiccup.
LaShawn McCoy, yeah. I love my LaShawn McCoy comp for him, like, every time I watch him play.
Yeah.
All right, so I like that. The next one.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's me. Hold on. Sorry, I have to send a message. Okay,
so I'll read this one. I'll read it for you then. Since you're sending messages out. Would you rather have who's getting eliminated mid first? So let's say 1-6. Let's call it 1-7. Let's call it 1-7 on the dot for Michael Pittman or DK Metcalf. Which of those three would you rather have?
That's actually, I think this may be the toughest one.
Yeah, it's super tough.
Honestly,
it's super tough for me.
Because man, I like Pittman, but he's a free agent. I don't think he's leaving. DK, I like DK, but he's got me at quarterback, mid first. You said 1-7?
Yeah.
Shoo.
So let's say, do you want me to throw a player on there just to make you feel a little bit better?
Who can I? Yeah, sure. Who can I have at 1-7?
Because just based on some mocks that I've seen already, let's call it Keon Coleman.
Mid first, baby. I'm taking Keon Coleman. You know that's my guy.
I know it's your guy. I get
it. He's got opportunity to be a 1 somewhere. I think his ideal landing spot, although I seen a mock with him going to the Eagles, that's not. I don't think that's happening. Ending up in Tampa, I think with the Bucs, I think that would be electric for him. It wouldn't be a far move for him. Mike Evans is going to be gone. Chris Godwin, who knows what's going on there. I think he can like kind of slide into the 1 there. So I would take that. And, it's kind of intriguing to take a pick.
Yeah, I could agree with that because it might not be Keon Coleman. Who knows? But right. I've seen some mocks where he's gone in that kind of realm of like 1-7, 1-9. So for me, it's Michael Pittman.
Okay.
I traded in a league DK for Pittman straight up, and I feel pretty confident with that one.
That's an interesting move.
I feel like it's pretty like even for the most part. I think DK is like the athletic freak, but let's be real. Michael Pittman is probably one of the most consistent wide receivers in this league.
Yeah.
And this Shane Steichen offense looks like there's no stopping it right now.
Dude, I'm so goddamn jealous, man. I'm so jealous. I think the Eagles kept the wrong guy. Shane Steichen is the real deal, dude. Right. And, it's kind of fun to watch the Colts, succeed. Colts are kind of like a team that I'm kind of like, I'm watching. Like, I don't really, you know what I mean? Like,
I think they have a very bright future with Steichen, Pittman, Anthony Richardson,
Taylor,
Jonathan Taylor, John Downs.
Alec Pierce could turn into a player.
Well, maybe. Possibly.
I mean, what is he, second year guy?
They're going in his 3rd year.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I would take Pittman in that scenario.
Okay. You can't go wrong.
2. No, I really don't think you could go wrong.
Mm-mm. So the next one would be, would you take a late second or Aaron Jones?
So you want to call it like an even number, like 210?
Sure.
So essentially, if you're calling it 210, you're essentially a contender. You're one of the top 3 teams in your league. I'm probably leaning Aaron Jones in that scenario. Because believe it or not, he's going to be, I think he's going to be 29. He's an older back, but he offers.
But if you're winning.
If you're winning, it's worth to take the gamble, and it's worth to take a gamble on a guy who looked so much better down the stretch this season than he did in the beginning, and that's when you need Aaron Jones as your playoffs, because he's obviously not going to be, if you're a top 3 team, he's not going to be your running back 1 or 2, but he could be, a flex or a running back 2 in a pinch. I think Aaron Jones is a good move for a contending team. He's one of my buys if I'm a contender.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm taking Aaron Jones. He just kind of is that guy, like you said, he's not going to be there for, the mid games, you know what I mean? He's going to miss some games middle of the season, but when he turns it on, dude, he turns it on. He'll have you 2-3 touchdowns in a game. I think he's kind of also one of those running backs that's like a solid point getter for you. If that makes sense, like a solid 15 and up. Whereas, there are guys who could.
Yeah, you're just going to have to deal with those low weeks and those injuries.
Yeah, but like even his low weeks, I think his low would be 15. You know what I mean? Like or miss, or
yeah,
he wouldn't
like
play.
7-8, but still, like, it's not great. But when he picks it up, like you're saying,
Mm-hmm.
he's a difference maker.
Yeah.
For your
And I
teams.
think he scores, dude. And it
Yeah.
seems like Green Bay kind of like steered away from AJ Dillon, which is weird,
No,
especially
he was
like
bad.
but like it's so strange because like especially on goal line, like if you've seen this guy's quads, they're like tree trunks. Like this guy can
So
push through the line like nobody's business, but like they kind of are steering away from him, and if he's getting up there in age, they're kind of like I guess they're kind of moving away from him completely.
so the guys over at Dynasty DNA, the guys we talk to all the time, those guys are great guys. They said he looks like Tarzan, plays like Jane,
Ooh,
because he is not, he's big for nothing, essentially. He's not
okay.
that guy. You're not that guy.
Not that
So
guy, pal.
yeah, I like
That's
that comp too.
yeah. What, Tarzan and Jane?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fun. That is funny. That stinks though, because he's like, yeah, he's enormous, and he looks like he can bulldoze through people, but like I guess they're not really, feeling him. But I mean, when does Green Bay really ever feel anyone who's an offensive player?
Yeah, true. All right, so the next one I got, this might be one of the tougher ones as well. We got Bijan Robinson going up against AJ Brown. I put a wide receiver versus a running back in this one.
That's a good one. Man,
Who's going over the top rope? You know damn well AJ Brown is a big husky dude. He's kind of hard to get over that.
nah,
Get over
dude,
that top.
I'm taking AJ Brown.
Okay,
I'm gonna go with AJ Brown.
I'm not
I
mad
think.
at it.
No, because you've seen, what he looked like in the beginning of the season, and then they have that, catastrophic blow up
Meltdown,
as typical Eagles do. I think him and Jalen get on the same page this year with whoever they bring in as offensive coordinator, and I think they right the ship, come back firing. Get rid of that dumbass screen game that they're whatever they think is going on with the 6,559 screens that they throw. And I think it just Bijan really had flashes, but then again, Raheem Morris could turn him into Kyron Williams. Who knows? But I'm going to go with AJ Brown.
Yeah, so I'm not mad at you for that. He is a top 5, top 6 dynasty wide receiver, depending on where you have like Marvin Harrison and stuff like that currently. But for me, I'm taking the running back 1 in my book in Dynasty. I'm going with Bijan Robinson. That dude is, both are uber talented, but when you have a dynamic running back like that, a can't miss running back.
What did he finish up?
I forgot to write that one down.
Yeah, you didn't. I don't have it here. I'm sorry to throw you, but
you're throwing me through so many loops today. Now, mind you, he did have that one game where he only had like no points.
Because he was fucking sick, and it was my goddamn playoff week that I started him. Yeah, I know. I remember that one well. He didn't feel well.
Believe it or not, man, for as much as like he didn't get a whole lot of work, he finished as running back 9.
Wow.
Yeah.
And do you know what?
AJ was I believe top 4 or 5. Let me double check. 5 on the dot.
Okay.
So AJ finished with 289 points, and then Bijan finished with 246. Which, I mean, it seems like a lot. It is a lot. It's 50 points. But we're going off of not having a big workload, missing a game, missing 2 games, I believe. 1, 2, I forget. I think I'm still taking Bijan.
I can't. I'm not mad at you for that. I mean, he is an electric player. He's a
tier of his own at running back.
Yeah. I mean, not yet, dude. Not yet for me. I think next season, eventually he'll do it. But like, I'm not like completely sold on. Like you were sold on him week 1. You're like, yeah. Like before he came out, you're like, he's the guy.
It's still he looked like the guy when he was given the ball.
So let me ask you: Are you taking Jonathan? Are you taking Jonathan Taylor, or are you taking Bijan?
Bijan.
Okay. I mean,
for several reasons. He's like 4 years younger.
Okay.
And the wear and tear.
Take AJ out of it, but I mean, who looks better?
I think I'd still take Bijan over
Okay.
Taylor just based on talent. But that's not super far off. Like Jonathan Taylor before this year was my running back 2 for Dynasty rankings. I haven't updated them recently, but he was my RB2. He'd fall a little bit right now. But you know, dude, I am going out on a limb, and I don't think this is a hot take. He finishes as the top 3 running back scorer next year, possibly even
I
more.
hope so.
Yeah. All right, you want to go to our next one? Is this our last one? Yeah, it is our last one. I'll give you this one. This one might be tough for you. Kyren Williams or Jonathan Taylor, like you just mentioned.
Ah, man, just because. So, like, they both are kind of injury. I don't want to say injury prone. They both have gotten injured this season. Kyren Williams kind of like really, really, really helped me a lot. This season he was my one bright spot in our league with our running backs. You know what? Fuck it. I'm taking Kyren Williams. He looked electric, dude.
I mean, again, I'm
looks...
not mad at you.
Yeah.
I think they're both worthy of a top 6, 7 running back spot. I'm taking Jonathan Taylor just based on talent. I think, Jonathan Taylor missed a few games from injuries, missed some of the season with that the holdout that he had. I think if we got a full season of Jonathan Taylor with Anthony Richardson, with Shane Steichen, I think the read option game on that team is going to be absolutely fucking deadly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think Jonathan Taylor is going to be. I think Jonathan Taylor has the possibility to be a top 5, 6 point scorer next year in running backs.
Yeah, they both of them likewise have to stay on the field. So
yeah, true.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. It's gonna be a fun and long off season, and we're
that's for sure.
And we forgot to mention I'll be leaving for the Senior Bowl in a couple days. On Tuesday morning, I'll be heading out, so I'll be posting a whole bunch of videos. I'll see if we can get some interviews done. I imagine that's going to be hard. But I'll be send some questions over, keeping a lookout on Twitter. Rich and I are going to probably try to do something during the week I'm down there. But we're going to do the pod on Friday, but maybe we'll do something live, just to talk about what I've seen one day before the podcast. And maybe we'll even post that as the podcast. So just be on the lookout for a bunch of stuff we got going on coming up soon.
Yes, sir. So you have fun. Take lots of pictures. You be safe.
I'm going to be eating so much,
I'm going to have a lot of fun,
stuff.
Absolutely, man. So you can reach Mike at let him know where you can reach him.
You can reach me. I almost said you can reach him at Dynasty. I'm talking to myself in the third person. At Dynasty Dog Mike on Twitter.
Alongside me, you can reach me at Dynasty Dog Rich on Twitter. Shoot us some questions, and we'll talk to you again next week. Peace.
Later.